Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Movie Bucket here on Screen Stealers. Hope you got your popcorn, your soft drink, and maybe a soft pretzel. It's time to get back into it. I'm Brooke, and I really only care about Monica.
Real,
That's so real.
real.
That's so real.
And hi, I am River, and you know what? Basketball just isn't fun anymore. It's just not. I'm over it.
Damn.
Mm.
Damn. And hola, I am Eduardo. And I got jump scared by Tara Banks while watching this movie. I am so sorry. I was I was not expecting it, and then she popped up, and Lord have mercy. That was terrifying. That was the scariest shit I've ever seen. Holy shit.
And hi, everybody. I'm Lana, and I had curfew. So, what did you want me to do?
So why
I
you
had
mad?
curfew.
Real.
I had curfew.
I want you to stay, Lana. I
I
wanted you
had
to
curfew.
stay. I want you to
If I
stay.
had stayed, I wouldn't be able to start. I don't know what you want me to do.
So, like you may or may not have been getting from our illusions, we are covering, as part of our February Black History Month celebration here on Screen Stealers with the Movie Bucket, we are covering Love and Basketball from 2000. Coincidentally, this movie premiered on the same day as another very important thing. Me, April 21st, 2000.
Woo!
So,
So it was a
pretty
double
much
premiere.
always,
Okay.
yeah, here. I mean, granted, we didn't do as good at the box office as Love and Basketball. We've only made about
Damn.
maybe 100 grand overall in our lifetime so far. But we're a cult classic, and when we get released on home video in a couple years, that's when we're really gonna be
That's
making
gonna blow
money.
up right there,
Absolutely.
baby.
We're not appreciated yet. Beside the point.
Ahead of your
Um,
time.
Ahead of my
Oh,
time.
truly.
Yeah. So Love and Basketball 2000. A really interesting group of actors and actresses in this film. Because some of these people are, in my mind, like household names. And then other people I'm not as familiar with, but I've heard their names or like seen their face before. And then a couple people, I'll just be real, I had never heard of in my life. But it's a really good group of people. Um,
Mhm.
so, Lana, you made this as one of your selections for the month. Can you give the people at home a little something something?
I picked this movie because it's Valentine's week. And I know when this comes out, it'll be Valentine's Day. Um, so I wanted to have a rom-com movie for this week. Um, and I picked this one because it's one of my favorite ones. That's a it's a lot. We have a few black movies that I just like love and just want to go back to. I can watch Love and Basketball every single time. It doesn't matter to me. Even as frustrating as it can be, it's just something about it that makes me go, I love this movie, and I can watch it every time it comes on. It's always that give and take, that push and pull. That do he love me? Yes, he loves me. Do I like her? Yes, I like her. No, I like her. It's frustratingly good, but that's what love is. We all been through. If you've been in love, you know how frustrating sometimes love can be, and it's just like,
Mhm.
oh, it makes me sick. I hate him so much, but I love him so much. She make me sick. I can't stand her, but I love her. You know that
Mhm.
it's so frustrating. And I think with this cast, this group of people, like you said, Brooke, this is a very interesting group of people to put together in a movie. But man, what a cast! What a cast!
Mhm.
From children, the child Kyla Pratt was in this movie, and
I was gonna bring that
like
up.
yeah, like Kyla Pratt is young Monica in this movie, and it's like you go from Kyla Pratt to Sanaa Lathan, and it's like, oh, perfect Monicas. Like I just love them. And then people like Alfre Woodard, who is just, oh, just phenomenal. Just
An
like
icon.
she
Anything with her,
makes
I'm watching.
anything with her, you just love. If you love her or you hate her, you just love to see her. And she's just incredible. Omar Epps, my God, I love that man. I love this man, even if I hate that man in this movie. And when moments I hate this man in this movie, I love that man. It's just, What somebody who maybe not be a, she played the mother of Omar Epps and Debbie. Oh, I love her. I loved her when she was on, because she used to be on All My Children, a soap opera here, All My Children,
Mhm.
and she was one of my favorite soap operas here, and I loved her in that. And I was like, are we gonna see her again in anything else? Like we see her in little things. I love that she popped up in this movie. I love that her character in this movie. I loved who she was in this movie. It Man, it was just so many people in this movie that you just be like, oh, I didn't know that this all-star cast, and to see where they are now in their careers is beautiful to see. I just love this movie so much. It was so fun to it's just one of those movies that I just watch. It's just, if it comes on screen, I'm watching it. I don't care what I'm doing, I'm watching it because I just love the way it flows, even when it frustrated the hell out of me, because it had parts where it frustrated me, but I loved every second of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then some
One
of the
thing about this
supporting cast is
movie,
people I wasn't like fully prepared to see in this movie. Like
Gabrielle
Yeah.
Union.
Gabrielle Union was
Mhm.
kind of
Right.
shocked to see
Oh,
her
yeah.
in this. Tyra Banks, a month after Life Size came out,
The
is
jump
in this
scare.
Mhm.
movie.
Terrifying.
Tyra Banks had a hell of a 2000. Because am I wrong in saying that's when America's Next Top Model premiered, or like
I
very
think it
close
did.
around
I think it
that?
started that year or
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
before
So
that.
Tyra Banks had a hell of a 2000. I can just say that
Mhm.
much.
and you know what? She did. It was a jump scare, but she did a good job here.
She did a great job at it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
She was.
Well,
absolutely.
I was gonna
and
say,
that,
like, one thing about this movie is all of the acting performances are great. Like, I didn't know all of the cast. I was familiar with some, but the acting, phenomenal.
Mhm.
Impeccable. Truly impeccable. Especially for me, the big standouts are the moms of
Mhm.
both Q and
Let's
Monica.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
like when they both have like talks with their children, it's very interesting to see how like they act and how they break down and how kind of like they react to the things that their children are saying, and like how I forget like how I forget the actual characters' names. I think one is Nana and the other one I forget. Um, but like how like Q's mother reacts to Seek cheating and her crying and like all of that. Like truly, the acting in this movie is absolutely amazing. I truly adored everything that was going on here when it came to acting.
oh yeah. Speaking of, quick note: Debbie Morgan is in this, which
Debbie Morgan is who I'm talking
brought
about.
her up,
Nana.
and I don't think I've ever told any of you this, by the way. My mom was obsessed with Charmed back in the day.
Mhm.
So seeing Debbie Morgan in this, I was like,
Debbie
what?
Morgan was in Charmed.
Yeah, she was in season 4 and 5, or 5 and 6.
Wow,
She
I
was
didn't
she was
watch
the seer in
Charmed.
Charmed. Yeah, she was in Charmed. So I was like, I haven't seen you in any other thing ever. I didn't know you did other projects. Hi.
Mm,
I was kind of
Yeah.
gagged.
It's always
yeah.
funny when that happens when you're like you disappeared from the face of the earth and suddenly you pop up in this random movie I'm watching. What the hell are you doing here?
Yeah.
That's how I felt about her. Because like I said, the last thing I saw from her was on All My Children. I didn't know she did anything else. I didn't watch Charm, so I didn't know she did anything else. And then she popped up on Love and Basketball. I was like, oh, I love her. That's Angie from All My Children. Like, hello.
Hmm.
Well, and then here lately, I've been seeing Regina Hall in more and more
Yes.
things,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I saw her. I remember seeing her in The Hate You Give when it came out, and I think she was
Mm-hmm.
incredible in that. And I remember seeing her. I think she was in both of the Thing Like a Man movies, and I thought she did really great in
Yes.
those two.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then she's just in One Battle After Another, which we have talked about on this podcast a little bit. I should say River has talked about on this podcast a little bit.
Boo! Tomato, tomato, tomato. Not Regina though. She was the best part of that movie. Her and the supporting actor. Anyway, forgot his name.
Yeah, so it's really interesting because a lot of the supporting cast are the people that I was a lot more familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
When I
Yeah.
was the main cast, I'm like, I mean, I know Kyle Pratt, but like when it was like, I hadn't, being 100, I hadn't heard of either of them. So it was really interesting because and I'm gonna say it kind of made it easier to believe their love story because it wasn't just like insert two A-list actors in a romance movie when I have seen them do other work before. It felt really
you didn't
organic and
recognize
really
the main actor from House?
wait, who is it? Hold on, what? Hold on.
He plays a
Pause.
dog. Like
Omar
I don't
Epps
know
is
the
on House.
name. I don't know the name of
Is
his
he?
character in House. I don't remember,
I
but
didn't realize
that's
it
where
was
I
the
know
guy
him
from
from. I'm
House.
like, yes.
I've never
Yeah.
seen
Wait, you
House.
didn't know-
Recognize him.
Wait a minute.
You didn't recognize him at all.
Oh wow.
That's crazy.
That's
Well, I
wild.
get gag. Okay,
Gagged me a bit for sure.
for sure.
Absolutely.
So you obviously didn't watch The Best Man either, or Brown. Okay. Oh, what's up? Okay. So now it's in a lot, but okay, yeah. I mean, hey, it sometimes
I'm looking through her work to make sure I'm not
a
just...
lot of work. She does a lot.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Wait. I take
She-
that back.
I said he.
I Sanaa is Monica. I recognized her this much like in the face, and I couldn't place her. She's in Now You See Me Too, which I like that movie. So I hadn't connected the dots there, but it's just a really interesting group of people making, I'm just gonna say, a really believable romance movie.
It's
and it
realistic.
was-
The story is very realistic.
Yeah.
I believe these people. Like, I believe what they are doing and what they are going through and their struggles. I want to root for them so much. I want to root for Monica so much.
Yeah, there you go. That's way more accurate.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that correction felt necessary. I was like,
Okay. So should we go ahead and just get into that discourse? Because I feel like
Let's
it's
get
gonna...
to the movie, please. I want to hear y'all
Yeah,
discussion.
we might as well.
and just so people watching, this is not spoiler free. There will be spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, what are you
Here
doing?
at the movie bucket, we always advocate before you watch a movie review to go watch the movie if you would like to.
Yeah, please.
Just as a general rule, if you're watching a review for something, maybe if you want to watch it, go watch it. Come back.
So,
Love and
question
Basketball
though.
on HBO Max, Amazon Prime, YouTube, plenty
It's
of
there.
places to go find this
Yes.
right now. There's a lot of
It came out in
there.
2000, people. I really think you could find it and watch it
Come
at
on,
some point.
man.
There's
But,
probably DVD
so-
access as well.
Please. So first time viewers.
Yes, first time for me.
First time for all of us, actually.
Mhm.
And
All right.
as you probably assume, Lana has, of course, seen this movie. But okay, I'm just gonna say, my favorite thing that they do in this movie is splitting it up into the 4 quarters, because
Yes.
I think that framing
Genius.
device is so lovely. We don't need to know every little detail of their story from the time they meet each other when they're like 11 and 12 years old till the time they're, both successful basketball players in their futures, right? We don't need to know everything. Telling chunks of their story without necessitating like those montage-y time skips in the middle is just a really good framing device. You could almost watch this as like a mini series, and I love that.
Yeah.
So just to
The
get that
editing
out
in
of
that
the
is
framing device,
incredible.
they ate.
Incredible.
Oh,
Yes.
Absolutely.
Should we get into the actual issues that I have with Quincy and how he treated Monica a little bit? Should we just get into that?
Right. Because one thing that I want to say, because Brooke, you said like you were rooting for them, and like in a way, I want to say I was rooting for them individually as people, as the characters. You know what I mean? Like I'm rooting for Q and I'm rooting for Monica to be happy and have a great life and everything. However, I will say for the first 3 quarters, I was, I'm like, okay, this feels very realistic. It's very much, it's not like a cutesy love story in a way. Like it has cute moments, but it's also very real, and it has those very important moments where, like you said, they don't tell us everything, but they show us enough for us to know kind of what happened, kind of a little bit in the times in between. But I enjoyed the way that their relationship was shown to us, and how we kind of were learning to love both of them individually as characters, and then also their story together, right, throughout the whole movie. However, the fourth quarter, and specifically the last 10 to 15 minutes, really lost me. I mean, and then we'll get into it more specifically later, but in general, like the way they wrapped up is where I have a problem, because everything else was just really good. The performances, the way, the pacing, like literally everything was just really enjoyable to watch and interesting and layered. So
Yeah, it's interesting because throughout this whole movie, like I think I was rooting for them more because I really liked Monica and I wanted Monica to be happy more than anything. And so since Quincy clearly like was a part of Monica that she really like enjoyed having, and like she really like liked him, I wanted them to end up together, and like I was constantly rooting for them. But then once they have the breakup and like the whole like he takes the other girl on the date, I kind of stopped wanting them to be together. But like once we got into the fourth quarter, and Monica's clearly still not over it, and she still like really wants to keep going, like go back and try it again. I kind of wanted it to happen, but like I wasn't gunning for it as hard as I was in the first three quarters. And then the whole thing happens with, oh, I am like engaged, I'm about to get married. And I was like, girl, maybe this isn't happening for you. And you know what? Maybe that's okay. Maybe you don't need to end up with Quincy to like be happy with your life and to find what you're looking for. And that's kind of where I thought it was kind of gonna go, especially with how the basketball one-on-one game ends at the very, very end. Like since he wins, I'm like, oh, okay, so he doesn't want to be with her anymore. She needs to move on and figure out what to do from now on. But clearly that doesn't happen. And, you know, at the end of the day, I was happy for them. I was happy for them. But I found myself not rooting for them as much as I was in the first three quarters.
Yeah, I'm gonna slightly disagree. I like their chemistry. I believe the two of them, right? So
yeah.
the ending of the third quarter specifically, right? Like that argument, right?
Yeah.
At that point, for me, them getting together had nothing to do with both of them to be in a relationship. It was more of a, man, they clearly are good for each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they break up, it's just kind of like, damn it. Because I've been in that position where you're with someone that you really love and you really care about and you want them to succeed. But at the same time, you're just not in the place to be there for each other, right? It's like your ship's passing in the night. Like you were there for each other while you could be. But they both kind of have different priorities. They both are prioritizing basketball in their lives, right? Like the two most important things in both of their lives by the time we're in quarter three is love and basketball, right? So when we get to that point where they do break up, it feels, I'm not going to say correct because I don't think they had to break up, but it feels.
But it makes sense.
It makes sense, right? Now, do I think he was being a bit of an ass in that argument?
A bit.
Oh, absolutely.
A whole lot of it.
I'm choosing to be kind. I am exercising kindness today. But do I also think Monica could have been a little bit more clear with her communication? Yes. In the circumstances that led up to the argument. Could she have communicated a little bit better her circumstances beforehand? Perhaps. And perhaps,
How?
yeah, but I also think Q just didn't really care, and I think he was kind of looking for an
Yeah.
excuse to leave. And I think that no matter how she communicated, I think he was going to leave no matter what. I'm just gonna say my piece on that. Um,
Oh, okay.
but
Oh, go ahead.
when we get to the fourth quarter, right? My only real critique with anything in the last quarter of the movie is that I kind of wish we had a little bit more time with Monica overseas, just a smidge, because I think that would have made her deciding to come home hit a little bit harder. Because we really only get to see like the one game and like her being successful, but she's kind of tired, and like even if it was just an extra scene of her like living her life outside of basketball in Barcelona, I think her coming back to the US would have hit a lot harder for me. But other than that, I think the plot made sense, although I wish she didn't do I wish she was not the one that initiated the two of them getting back together. I wish it was him.
Yeah, that's my main problem because the thing is, okay, I don't mind. I actually like the plot of them breaking up at certain point because I feel like that makes sense. I just don't necessarily like the way that it happened. Like I feel like it could have been something, you know, not necessarily like a good reason or a reason that made sense. It could be like a selfish reason. It could be a negative reason, right, for the breakup. I just feel like, or if they, it could be either some other reason, a different way, or they could have done exactly the way that they did it, but they should have done a better job at redeeming Q's character before they got back together. That is my problem with the fourth quarter, with what happens in the fourth quarter, is that they didn't redeem Q's character enough for my personal taste. And I wouldn't have minded if Q were the one that initiated, and that everything that Monica did, and that like when she, if that was reversed, I still don't think they should end up together in the way that the movie was told. But I would be okay with it. I'd be like, that makes sense. That yes, like even though if I was in her place, I wouldn't take him back. I feel like it would make sense for her to be like, okay, I will give you a second chance. You know what I mean? Because like he fucked up so many times. Like the fuck ups that she had were like unintentional and not horrible. It was just like miscommunication or like a, you know, it wasn't intentional. She never did anything to intentionally hurt him. He did that to her. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like I understand if that was part of his character arc with seeing his home life, right? That makes sense. But then I need them to redeem his character first before they end up together. Or if all of that had happened exactly the same, right? She came after him, they did the whole basketball, whatever. He lost the game, and that was it. He went off, got married, she moved on with her life, and then we had a small, like, fast forward to him in the future after he gets divorced, and her in the future after being successful in her life in other ways. And then after years and whatever of like not being together and having good separate lives, then getting back together, like I would be more sold on that. It's just the way that they make them get back together and end up together that they really lost me with that. Because it's just
so
like
what you wanted was overtime. You wanted overtime.
Exactly. I call fall. You know what I mean? Like I'm not anyway, but everything else, that is literally the only like negative thing that I have to say about this movie is this. Everything else, love it.
Let me talk about the fourth quarter. Because the fourth quarter is very interesting. And when you go through the first, especially the third and fourth quarter, that transition, that interesting. When they break up in the third quarter, I found it necessary. I found it necessary for them to break up. I found it
Mhm.
that they needed to break up because Q was not in the right space. He had just watched his father cheat on his mother, go through all of this. He's not in the right headspace. He goes he's so focused on his career in basketball that he neglects her career in basketball. He feels like his career is so much more important than her career because at the time WNBA didn't exist. If women wanted to play basketball, they had to go overseas and play basketball. And
Mhm.
some decided to, some didn't. They were just, college was the end of the road for a lot of women who was playing basketball. There was no chance after that.
And
So
on top
he,
of that, his dad was also an NBA player.
right,
So
his
like
dad was an
on
NBA.
top of that,
Right, he
yeah,
wanted to be a
Yeah.
legacy in the
yeah.
NBA because his dad was. He had a lot on his
Yeah.
plate, so he felt like his career was more important than her career. She, on the other hand, was like, no. She knew she was good at this. She wanted to prove how good. She had a bigger chip on her shoulder because she knew her time was limited. There was no WNBA. If she didn't succeed in college, there was no going off to the overseas to play basketball. She
Mhm.
had a bigger drive, another layer of what
She
she
had more
wanted.
stakes. She had
She
more
had,
stakes
yeah,
on it.
hers,
Yeah.
her role was a little less traveled, more less traveled than his. His was an easier path to get to where he needed to go.
Yes.
Hers was not so
Mhm.
easy. So when you put all those things together, and the two of them still dueling, trying to wanting to be together, he
Mhm.
wanted to be with Monica, but his home life was so dysfunctional, so all he saw was his father being disloyal to his mother, treating women like they were not important, that they were you know, they were there just because, they supposed to be there. And his mother stayed with him knowingly he was cheating, knowing that
Mhm.
he wasn't good. He's living up to this pressure of trying to be the son of an NBA player who is also a basketball player, so who can try to get into the NBA. His headspace wasn't where they weren't ready to take that step from third quarter, fourth quarter together. So I
Mhm.
feel like their breakup was necessary because his brain was. Quincy pissed me off in the third quarter. Him in college and him
Yeah.
not understanding that because
I mean,
when
he
he,
pissed me off from the beginning when he pushed her, but but he
I
had
mean,
good
yeah, we
moments too. But like,
really
he
that
pissed me off the
too.
whole
He
movie.
he
Yeah.
was he was very much a boy in that moment, and it was like, okay, look here, but
Yeah.
like when he was kind of just like doing this whole I'm too cool, Mr. Too Cool for everybody. I'm the top basketball player. I'm Mr. Popular. Everybody want to be with me. Every girl in the
Mhm.
school trying to get with me. I'm Quincy, baby. I'm cute. Everybody want to be with Quincy and treating Monica like you go be there. Like she was all reliable. You go be there when I finish playing around. I always know
Mhm.
that. That is what frustrated me the most about the movie is him looking at Monica as someone who's just going to be there when he gets done with whatever he's doing. And Monica had to show him that's not the case
Mhm.
because and it pissed me off again when he was like, you should have been there for me, acting like he didn't know the rules of basketball in college, like he wasn't saying playing the same sport. Like when you
Mhm.
say her communication could have been better, I'm like, how? Because Quincy, in basketball there's a curfew. If you don't make curfew, you don't play.
You know
She's
what?
a basketball player
He wanted her to put him
first.
first, and when she didn't,
He didn't
he was
know.
pissed.
He was
He
pissed
didn't like
about it.
it,
But
and I'm
the
like,
crazy
then,
thing about it
ugh,
is that she told him like, "Hey, I have curfew, but you can come with me to
let's go
my
to my
room
yeah.
so that we can talk about the situation in my room so I don't miss curfew."
Right.
And he went out of his way to say, "I don't want to do that."
Right. That's I'm like, yeah, Quincy was a jerk. He was a jerk. He was a thing. But when we get into the fourth quarter of it all, and seeing Monica go overseas, I do agree. I wish we would have saw a little bit more of her overseas, going overseas,
Mhm.
playing, trying to date because I wanted to see Monica
And failing,
try,
maybe, probably, right?
huh?
Mhm.
Like trying and failing.
Right, maybe trying and just realizing that nobody, because sometimes that happens. We meet the one that we want to be with early in life. It don't work out. We go out and try to find that person, somebody else to replace, and you realize ain't nobody. This ain't it. This ain't working. I'm trying to date. It's not working. These people aren't the person who I want. And you go back home. And I think I really wanted to. That was my only thing. I wanted to see them pushing Monica out there to date more and to act, because like we saw her do that one date at the high school dance with Boris Kojo, but like you go turn down Boris Kojo for Omar Epps. I don't know. I love Omar Epps, love him, but it's Boris Kojo. Hello.
You're so real for that. You were so real
Hello.
for
I'm
that.
about to say it's Boris Kojo. I'm picking Boris Kojo every single time.
No.
But
Mhm.
but we didn't see Monica like try to be with other people, and we saw Q hooking up with whoever he wanted to. And I wanted that for Monica. I wanted her to them at least to put that in there, like her going out,
Mhm.
dating, realizing these guys are just not it. I wish they would have showed that more, but her going overseas playing, not enjoying the sport of basketball because her heart was basketball, and Q were her love. She
Mhm.
loved basketball, but basketball without Q wasn't the same. Basketball without the person who brought her so much happiness in the game was Q. So the love and the basketball was all Q. That's what this whole thing was about. And so for her going out, basketball didn't have the same effect for her anymore. She didn't enjoy the game. And when she came home and did the whole banker thing, I agree with you, River. I would have liked to see Q be the one to initiate the whole one-on-one game,
Mhm.
but I understand why he didn't. And his redeeming quality came after the game he lost. He could have easily won that game and walked away, went back and married Tyra and her character and moved on. But his heart of heart was like, no, I love her too. That's why he was like 2 out of 3. Let's run it back. Let's do it again. Could it have been more? Absolutely. I would have
Mhm.
loved for it to be more. I would have loved for him to lose the game and still be like, so she could say, I have my heart, and her be like, you know what? I don't want to force this. I don't want you to feel like you have to stay with me because, and he walks away and he's like, nah, let's play again. Like it could have been something else.
Mhm.
But I feel like that fourth quarter was them both showing that last 10 minutes or whatever, the basketball game was her showing him, because that was his one thing. He didn't feel like she prioritized him for
Mhm.
her. He didn't feel prioritized by her. And her taking the initiative and doing it, let him see that she can prioritize him, and he needed that. And then for him saying 2 out of 3, let's run it back and do it again, showed her that his feelings were actually real. That
Mhm.
because he could have walked away, he could have took the win and walked away, but he chose her, and that was the first time she felt truly chosen by him. So I felt like both of those things happened, and they both got the what they needed from it. As a viewer, I wanted more, but I feel like as characters, they both got what they needed in that moment. She felt chosen by him. He felt prioritized by her.
Mhm.
So in that instant, did it frustrate me? Yes, but I still think that fourth quarter needed to happen, kind of the way it happened.
Yeah.
I have interesting thoughts on it because I think I believe their chemistry.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I'm like, are they taking a deep pause to think and be
All
dramatic, or did they freeze?
right.
But I
So
think they.
Brooke froze.
I'm like,
Brooke
they
froze.
froze. They froze. Um, we'll see
Monica said
if they
not
will come
emote
back.
and
Yeah,
Um,
but go ahead,
but
River.
one thing that I wanted to mention when you were talking is that one of the other things that really bugged me was Monica saying, "I understand, right? I understand,"
Hmm.
but her saying that basketball wasn't fun anymore for her because he wasn't there. I'm like, but you loved basketball before you even met him. So like what? So like I don't see. I don't like that. I don't like that the like why couldn't she have a passion for both and it not be like I understand why with the story of the movie and whatever, but I'm like that really pissed me off too. So like because in the beginning we are introduced to the character as she loves basketball and the boys underestimate her and she turns out being better than all of them and beating them, right? So I'm like the fact that they end with her like kind of saying that she can't love basketball, like basketball doesn't make sense to her without a man. I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry. Like respectfully, I can't with that. You know what I mean? But Brooke, you were saying before you froze.
Yeah, pardon my internet. I feel like there's just this undeniable love for each other that they both have that makes it really hard for me to come down on the film. But I will say I get the critiques and I get the criticism. And I'm not saying she needed to be clear. When I said that she could have been a little bit more clear with her communication, I think she should have been a little bit more like, I don't even think, honestly, I think you were right, Lana. I think I was wrong. I think that was a dumb thing to say. And I had to think about it a little bit more.
Because the only thing is like she could have been more assertive throughout the whole movie. Like she could have stood up for herself more and be more assertive, but other than that, she did nothing wrong in my eyes.
Maybe she could have just been a little bit like, I would love to stay, but I have to go. Like maybe a little bit more like clear with what she was saying. But even then, I'm not going to blame her for that because clearly nothing was going to get through to him in this moment.
And he knew that because he played basketball too at the same college with the same curfew.
He was acting brand new, and I'm over it. Okay?
Truly.
But yeah, I really do think that their chemistry is what keeps me invested because some of the things in this movie don't work. I'll just be blunt. Some of this movie doesn't work plot-wise. I know this is pre-WNBA. Like, a lot of this movie is literally the entire movie other than the last, 10 minutes is pre-WNBA. I wish we had... I kind of wish their stories were flipped, and I know they couldn't do that in a reasonable way. I kind of wish that Monica was the one who was so successful that she left and went and became professional. Like she went overseas way before he did school and stuff. And then he was the one that was, I just wish that she had went overseas earlier and not him be the one that left her. I wish she had left him and the rest of this movie was the exact same. Because part of my biggest problem with this movie is that he breaks up with her. Right, quite literally friend zones her, right? And then she comes back, and it's almost like now that I'm back, we can get back together. But that's not really what happened. So if she had been the one to leave instead of him, and I know that doesn't work as well with the narrative that the movie is trying to tell, I get that. But in terms of the romance specifically, that would hit harder for me. If he had left and then he is pursuing her, or she had left and then she's pursuing him, that hits better for me. In the way it is right now, it kind of just makes Monica not look great. But I get where she's coming from because he did do her really wrong. He did. Yeah. He treated her like crap, and then when she called him out for it, he broke up with her. God. Quarter 3
but it's so realistic because a lot of women actually do exactly what it's that's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily like that part of the movie, but it is very realistic. It makes sense, especially at that time. Like it still happens today a lot, but especially at the time it was filmed.
Yeah.
When you have a relationship that is so and for me, I felt like always Monica loved Q more than Q loved Monica. And I feel like that's always wrong for me. In my brain, that's always wrong. In my head, a man needs to love the woman more than the woman loved a man in every situation.
I mean, marriage counselors said that that's the dynamic that usually works from their experience. So I believe them.
I just feel like that should always be the case for me. Or one person got
Equal, like
equal is,
equal, or the man loves more. Yeah.
or in if it's not man woman, any, I feel like one person got to love the other person a little bit more for that relationship to work. Whatever, man, woman, they, I don't care. One of y'all got to love the other one more than the other one. And in a man woman situation, the man should love the woman just a little bit more, because it just, that man's going to do more if he loves more. And that woman, that just has to happen for me. I just need that in my life.
Because of societal dynamics.
Right.
Yeah, right. Because here's the thing: if we lived in a society that I was going to say matriarchal, but that's not the opposite of patriarch. So it's not
Right.
it doesn't center women; it centers children.
Right.
So, but if we lived in a system that centered women the way that we center men in our system, then I would be like, it would make sense. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
so the woman needs to like, sure. Because of the power dynamics that are outside of the relationship that impact the relationship directly,
Mhm.
right? Because
Absolutely.
that's the reason.
That's
Otherwise, I would always say like you should love each other the same ish, right?
but that ain't what we're living in.
But
So
that's not reality. Exactly.
but
Exactly.
even with that, I said Monica liked Q, loved Q a little bit more than Q loved her. That's where I felt like it shifted in that fourth quarter. And even though Monica, and I think it was in that moment of her losing that game and Q winning, is when Q had to finally come to realization, like, wait, no, I actually do love this woman more than she, like I could walk away and it'd be done. And it was in that moment Q was like, you know what? No, no. If she walks out of my life, I don't know if I'll be able to do this life without her. It was in that moment where he realized he couldn't do this life without her, even though he was trying. Because honestly, if he would have married Tyra's character, that wouldn't have lasted. He would have never, that wouldn't have lasted. It would have been, she would have been too, she would have stayed, the cycle would have continued. He would have cheated on her and she would have been in that, that cycle would have continued. He realized in that moment Monica is who he couldn't do life without her. And so that's why I said it made sense. Did I like the way it happened? No. But I think it was in that moment he realized, because he could have walked away.
But that's what I'm thinking. Like, but he could have walked away, but to what? Because my question is, would he have asked for a second or third or whatever? Would he still have wanted to be with Monica in that moment if he would still had a chance to play in the NBA? If he hadn't been injured,
busted his knee,
and
yeah.
if he, you know what I mean, like if he could still have his, you know what I mean, like,
yeah.
Okay, did he only choose her because he didn't have anything else? Is my question.
Here's the thing.
Not saying he doesn't love her.
Sometimes in life, it takes us losing everything to realize what we lost and what we want. And him losing his NBA dreams, if he would have stayed in the NBA, he would have probably been on that path of his father. He would have had NBA groupies. He would have had, the trophy wife doing whatever. It would have been Q's life, and he would have never. I think he probably would have never realized how much he had to lose it all. And Monica had to win it all, because she was the one losing the whole time before. And now at the end, he lost and she won. And he's realizing in that moment, she walked away from me. I lost everything. It sucks. Does it? Yes. I'm with you with the frustration. Does he lose it?
Because I have follow-ups. Because I'm
thinking. And everything look, I'm gonna say everything you're about to say. I'm gonna say yes.
You probably already thought about, and I'm like, I get it. Right. But okay, first, not just as a woman, just as a person with dignity and self-respect. Why would you want someone to have to lose everything to then realize that they want you?
Because that's who you want.
You know what? Okay.
Love is
First
love.
question.
That's what you want. Your body and your soul is yearning for that.
Anyway, okay. Other thing.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I wrote on my notes was that I thought was very interesting was that they both had to quit the game, right?
Yes.
They both quit the game.
Yes.
She quit. She always had like it was always harder for her. He had the easiest path, whatever. She worked so much harder to be able to get what she actually got in the end. Not that he didn't work hard, but like her path had more obstacles. She decides to quit. She achieves her dream and decides to quit that because of whatever, right? But she decides to quit. Doesn't matter the reason. He is forced to quit. And I think that explains the relationship between men and women so perfectly. Because a woman doesn't like she doesn't have to lose everything that she has to realize to see love, to find love, to realize love. You know, like it's just it pisses me off. It just pisses me off.
Okay.
It's so frustrating.
I know this.
Anyway.
This is about to say something that has nothing to do with this movie, but this is so real right now because I am watching Love Island UK right now, and it's literally the same thing because we have a man named Scott who is with this woman, Leanne, for 3 weeks in the Love Island villa. 3 weeks is a long time. Okay. The show is only 6 weeks. So 3 weeks in the villa. You should know what you want with this person. You've been with this person for 3 weeks. You should know if you want to close things off or you want to continue talking to other people. And he couldn't decide if he wanted. And he kept saying stupid stuff like, it's been 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks. And we're like, yes, 3 weeks. A man he can't figure out what he wanted in 3 weeks. Q couldn't figure out what he wanted in 10 years. Years. College. You've grown. You've been with this person since high school. And you can't figure out what you want. You don't know this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with after you've been with this person for years. Monica knew the second she got with Q. Monica knew the minute she was with Q that's the man who she wanted to be with for the rest of her life. She knew it. She said, this is my man, my man, my man. That's who I want to be with. She left a sport she loves because he wasn't in her life, because the game wasn't fun without him. That is the frustration. And like you said, that is that dynamic that men and women go through when we in these relationships. The man seems to feel like he just can't know. He just don't know. I don't know. The woman know instantly. She knew the second they got together. The minute they got home from that high school dance and they hooked up, that was her man.
Yeah, and something you mentioned earlier, River, and I hadn't thought about it until you brought it up, and I've been considering it for the past 10 minutes, trying to respond to this, right? Was okay, but she loved basketball before she met him, right? She did, but I think meeting him made it mean more to her.
Yes.
And I think it's kind of like, okay, this is going to be a really hackneyed comparison. I apologize in advance. It'd kind of be like playing a Pokemon game without a rival, right? Like you don't need them there. They don't have to be there. But them being there kind of makes you want to try a little bit harder, and it makes you want to do better because I can't lose to my rival. What is that crap? If I run into Barry and I don't beat that man, I feel like an idiot, right? So they're not going to be direct rivals in the One Tree Hill basketball rival kind of way, where they're both on the court and they're both trying to against each other.
Love the reference, by the way. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I love One Tree Hill. Love One Tree Hill. But they have to rival each other in a way that makes sense for them because they grew up playing basketball together. But now that they're, going their own ways, they can be supportive of each other, but still want to outdo each other. And I think that makes both of, again, it started out for both of them as just basketball, right? But because the love came in, that's why it's love and basketball, because it is both. They it's so intertwined into their relationship that it's not two separate motivations. It's one big motivation that's kind of like pumped up. Do you notice that when Q and Monica breaks up, that's when Q kind of starts sucking
everything.
a little bit?
Yep, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, and Monica's still successful, right? Like she's still doing
Mhm.
great stuff in Barcelona, but she's not into it. She's not feeling it anymore. And when things, work out and they get back together, I mean, Monica ends up being in the WNBA. So, like, did they work it out?
That I love. Yeah. The fact that she ended up achieving her goal, love it. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was going to say, Rick. I agree 100%. When they weren't together, basketball for Q just went. Pew, 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 pew. He wasn't good at it. He couldn't focus. She was his love and basketball, and he severed that love. So that severed the game. I'm just saying, if they stayed together, I don't know if he would have had that injury. I think the basketball still would have been supported. I don't know. But I think it needed to be done. I just feel like the connection that the director did a good job, because the connection that they had with the love and the basketball and put them together and made their love for basketball become their love for one another. And when that love was not there, neither one of them were happy with basketball. Hughes was because he lost because he couldn't focus. His head wasn't in the game. That's why he injured himself, because his head wasn't in the game. His head was all over the place, dealing with his dad, dealing with his mom, trying to deal with his dad, trying to deal with the fact that Monica was no longer there to be that support system that he could lean on and depend on. And it just, he lost it. His head, he lost the focus and hurt himself. Career ending move. He can't play no more. Yeah. Monica goes to Barcelona, is successful. She's doing well. She don't win the championship. Did she win the championship? No, she won. Yeah, she won the championship.
She won. She had the
they
trophy.
won the championship. She's successful, but she's not happy. And it doesn't matter how successful you are at something. If you're not happy doing it, you don't want to be there. And so I do love the fact that, like you said, with the love, both of them were in their fields. And that basketball was something that they loved, but they fell in love with each other for basketball. So,
and it kind of, again, I think this title is actually low-key very profound, because, again, it is the two themes of the movie, love and basketball. But by the time you get done with the movie, you kind of realize that's just both of their lives, right? Is just love and basketball. That's all they know. And because they are the central figure for each other in both of those things, when they're not there for each other, it makes their lives feel more empty. Mm-hmm. And getting I think my biggest problem with the movie now is that Q, like you mentioned, Lana, Q will not know what he wants ever, right?
Ever.
But I do struggle a little bit with that length of time between them, between his injury and Monica, between him leaving and his injury, because he's been in the NBA for 5 years. Like it's clearly he's been in the NBA for 5 years, and now, granted, we do hear from him that he allegedly tried to call Monica a few times, and she never responded. And by the way Monica responds to that, it's pretty clear that, he did try to call her, and she just didn't feel like talking to him. Well, yes.
Correct.
That's no shade to Monica. This has nothing to do with
Never shade to Monica.
My girl Monica can do no wrong in my eyes. I'm going to be so honest.
I just have to wonder, when was he emotionally ready for Tyra Banks? That's my question, because whenever...
He wasn't.
He wasn't. I don't think he was.
But at what point did he decide this is okay? Like, when did he think he had moved on? What point? Because they never really are super clear about it. I know there's that one line of, like, he's engaged to the stewardess, like that, like it's a really quick line that Monica's mom says to her.
Yeah.
but and that quick. So it's implied that it's happened like very recently, and like they haven't been together super long. But I don't know. There's just something about it that kind of messes with my head a little bit, because other than that I wish he wasn't in a relationship. Had he not been in a relationship, I think that last quarter works a lot better for me. And I understand it's him trying to move on and trying to find something to fill that void. And like, I get it. It's just, it doesn't, all the dots are there on the page, and I have drawn the line, and I can see the picture, but there's that one little dot that they asked me to draw on the connect the dots image that just doesn't seem to fit for me.
Right.
Fair.
Like, the snowman does not need a fourth button. Like that's the image. The snowman doesn't need a fourth button.
You got everything else. Why'd you put that fourth button there? Why? It's just 1, 2, 3. Well, yeah.
Well, with talking about the negative things about this movie for me, I want to bring up probably my favorite scene of the movie. That scene where when they're teenagers and Q's parents are fighting, and he climbs out his window and into hers, and he slips in her floor, and they don't say anything. It just by seeing that, we see that it's not the first time clearly. And then we see that like they weren't necessarily friends in high school, but they were friendly, and they were not necessarily like friends in that way, but they were supportive of each other when it came down to it, when it was necessary. They were not like close, but they always cared about each other in a way. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the bond and the care was always there.
I think they were. No, I actually think they were more friends. I think they were best friends. Like, I think
but not for other people, like in school.
Well, I mean, I think they were friends, and everybody knew Q and Monica. They go be, but they never looked at anything outside. Like, that's why Gabrielle Union's character felt so comfortable talking to Monica the way she talked to Monica. That's why people would, because he was being very teenage boyish in that aspect. Like, he was, that, like, everybody knew Monica and Q, they neighbors, they friends. He wasn't like my bestie like that, but they were like, we friends, we support each other. They both basketball players, that kind of homie vibe. Like, everybody felt, like they were buddies.
Yeah.
And this is my buddy, this is my homie kind of vibe. And I think everybody in the school knew that Monica and Q are friends. They're they buzz. They like, but Q would never be interested in Monica like that. Although people could see Monica might be a little bit interested in Q like that, because Monica would follow Q around and Monica would be there and she was supportive. And I think they had that supportive relationship. That's why when you did that scene of the fans fighting him coming in the room, that clearly, like I said, was not the first time that happened. They have done that several times. They probably been doing that since they were kids. They have probably been doing that since for a very long time. And it's just like, she just got up, opened the window, let him in, and he just grabbed it and went on the floor. That's just something that just, I feel like they were friends, and that's the start of why their relationship is the way they are. And that's why Monica is just, she's nurturing, she's loving, she's caring. She feels like she has to look after Q, and she wants to take care of Q. And so she's been taking care of him since they were 10, 11, 12 years old, like since they first moved next door and they became friends. That's just been their relationship. And so I think that aids into what happens later on in their life. She always feels that need to take care of him, even when he don't want to be taken care of.
Yeah, and something that I just thought about, and I'm like, okay, like a light went on in my head. I'm like, okay, it's clicking, it's clocking to me now a little bit more. So Q was the only person like close, the only person close to Monica that cared in a sense about her about basketball.
Yes,
because Q came from a family that cared about basketball but didn't care about him, right? And Monica came from a family that cared very deeply about her, but didn't care about basketball. So
Right.
they kind of like, she was to him what he was lacking in his family life, and vice
Hmm.
versa. So like
Exactly.
that
Mm-hmm.
is something that I just clocked, that not like that makes sense a little
Hmm.
bit more with the
Hmm.
connection.
I do think the other thing that I really want to talk about is Monica's relationship with her mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really talked
Mm-hmm.
about it. My favorite scene in the entire movie is their scene together in the fourth quarter where they kind of fix things a little bit. Because
Mm-hmm.
you can tell they never had that conversation. Like, they both had issues with each other, and they
Hmm.
both were never clear about what their issues were. So they both made assumptions about what the other's problems were. And
Mm-hmm.
And what the other
having that,
wanted or didn't want.
even with that conversation being painful and hard for
Hmm.
both of them to hear, it was so needed for both of them. Like, they
Yes.
Yeah.
needed to have that conversation. Um, and having it was beautiful to see.
Hmm.
It was really, really beautiful. Uh, and so damn necessary for both of
Yes.
them. Um,
Yeah.
I, I just, oh god, this movie is so interesting. And normally when I say that, it's a knock, but I really mean that in this case because this movie is really interesting. Because on the surface, it does seem like a fairly standard romantic drama, but it's got a lot
Layers.
more in it that makes it really fun to discuss.
Layers.
And this is it. It
Yeah.
kind of reminds me a little bit of God, a little bit of Anomalisa where we could just kind of talk about it and have like we could talk about it for another 30 minutes and I think it would still be interesting and we could bring up different viewpoints and perspectives. And I guess
Yeah.
that's just kind of a good screenplay because I think that's
Mm-hmm.
a big strength of this and of Anomalisa is that they both have really good screenplays. Um,
Yeah.
and a man that is problematic in some form or fashion and a woman who deserves better.
I
I
Absolutely.
mean,
mean,
that's why I wanted to talk about the parent dynamic on both from Q's parents
mhm.
and Monica's parents because
Mm-hmm.
Monica, her mom, didn't support her basketball career, but loved her daughter, wanted the best for her daughter, wanted to see her, do well, but she didn't understand this basketball. Like, why aren't you like my other daughter, who's the girly, who likes to dress up, goes to
She didn't know
dates?
what to do,
She didn't know what
right?
to do with that because she was the girly
Mm-hmm.
mom. She's a girly mom. She's like, I like to wear makeup. I like to put on jewelry. I like to take care of my house and cook and take care of things. And Monica was so anti that. She was like, you gave up your life for a man, and that's crazy when you got. And her mom was like, no, that is not what I did. I love taking care of my family. That is who I am. That's what I love. That's the woman I am. And I just wanted she just thought that every woman's supposed to be like her. And Monica was like, every woman ain't supposed to be like you. You're supposed to be. That dynamic that they had. But then Monica's dad, who was very much supportive of Monica and her basketball, and was like, you can do this. You can do whatever you want to do. And all of that. It was just like, for me, I love that this was like both homes were mom, dad. What they weren't broken homes, but they had problems within their homes, which like any
Mm-hmm.
family. And I'm so tired of like, especially for black movies, where it's always the broken home story. It's the broken home, the dad's not in the picture. I love that both of their dads were in this picture for this movie, even if how good or bad they were. Um, the moms were there. Like it was a full fledged home. They
Mm-hmm.
just had their issues within their homes. But then you flip to Q's house. His mom was trying to be the best mom she could be, dealing with a
Mm-hmm.
man who was in the spotlight, who had celebrity, who had all access to all of these different vices, women, drugs, alcohol, money. He had all these access to all these vices, and he fell for temptation in a lot of these vices. And she had to try to be the strong woman for her son, who she saw had the potential to do great things in this basketball life, but not go down the same path that his dad did. And she was trying, but then she still had to deal with her inner turmoil of, am I not good enough? Why is my husband out here cheating? Am I doing something wrong? Is it me? Is it, why can't we have a happy house? Because am I not satisfying him enough? The things that go on when you're partner cheats on you, you think it's you. Like, did I do something to make them cheat? And so she's still trying to deal with that turmoil, still trying to raise her son, who she can see is actively going down the same path as her dad. She sees it and she wants to stop it. But how do you stop a grown man? In her eyes, she's like, how do I stop somebody who's grown, who's already barreling down that path? So I enjoyed seeing the dynamics of both sides of their their family life. Even Monica's sister, who was like, I support you in your basketball life, but I also want you to be able to not just be basketball, but be a woman too. You know what I'm saying? Just you don't have to just be basketball. You can be so many other things, so many different layers of you. Right. Expand your horizons.
World. Yeah.
You're not just basketball. You don't have to just be basketball. You can be basketball.
Because that's the thing, because when you put your whole value into one thing, like when you don't have that anymore, who are you?
Where do you go? Yeah. And that's what Monica was facing in the fourth quarter. She didn't know where to go after basketball.
Kind of like what happened to Q, because that's what he did.
Right.
He put all
didn't know where to go.
Coins in basketball,
and that's why I think he fell for that Tyra's character, because he had nowhere else to go.
Yes.
He didn't know what else to do, and he needed somebody to help fill a void. Was she the perfect person for him? No, he didn't care at that point.
She was just there. She just needed to be
there. She was pretty. She was willing to be there. She was willing to take care of him. That's what he wanted and needed in that moment.
Yeah, and I think importantly too, you mentioned that's what Monica's dealing with in the fourth quarter. That's also what Monica's dealing with in the second quarter a lot. Is we see she's not getting recruited for an attitude problem. She clocked their tea. If she was a man, for the record,
they would have.
You know that one scene with Survivor Kage where Cass is like, if I were a man, I would be strategic and smart and intelligent, but because I'm a woman, I'm a bitch, right? Same energy, same energy. But she's dealing with the fact of there's only one scout left who might take her, and she's starting to realize if she doesn't get, you mentioned if she doesn't do well in college, she can't go play overseas. If she doesn't get scouted, she can't even go to college for this,
right?
And she's put all of her eggs into this basket because it's the only thing she cares about. But at the same time, it's not the only thing she cares about, because if Q was not doing as successful as he was, she probably wouldn't feel this immense pressure as intensely as she does. And I think it's such a beautiful dynamic that's also so unfortunate, because they need to be able to succeed independent of each other. And on some level, they both do, but they only really both become supremely successful together. And I think that's why I buy the romance as much as I do. Also, doesn't hurt that they were dating at the time, the two actors, so the chemistry is like off the charts.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yeah. So like, God, this is just, it's lovely.
One thing that I thought was funny was that the director, whatever, someone made the choice of when they did it for the first time to show that it was safe sex. Okay.
Yes. Oh, fully.
We got to make sure.
Well, that's how you know that a woman directed this movie.
There you go.
Say that.
As a podcast, we do appreciate safe sex practices. Practice safe sex.
And consent.
And
absolutely.
Number one,
that shouldn't even need to be stated.
Sometimes you better say it.
Well, the fact that it needs to is
it's safe to say it.
Welcome to the world, everyone. So I feel like we are at a good point. Before I know River's about to one more thing me, but before we do,
guys, if you are binging our video,
I'm like,
if you are binging our videos, take a sip every single time River says one more thing.
One more thing.
Yeah, River's one more thing me. I just want to be clear, we're getting to that point. So River, one more thing me. Go ahead.
Right. Because there was one point we were talking about the parents' relationships, right?
Right.
In the fourth quarter, when Q was in the hospital and his dad came to visit, that whole scene was so strong. But Specifically, I wrote down the quote when Q looks at his father when his father is trying to give him advice. He says, and I quote, "How come you couldn't be the man you keep trying to make me?" And I said, "Oof, oof,
That quote goes crazy.
locked."
That goes hard.
Absolutely.
I hadn't seen the Allstate guy in a serious dramatic role before this.
Not
Um,
that.
That's what I know him from, Lana. I'm sorry. But like,
That's
I
crazy.
looked at his face and was like, that's the Allstate guy. And then he started talking, and I'm like, that is definitely the Allstate guy. But no, he was so good in this movie. Like, I really was invested in him, even if he did some stupid shit.
Yeah. If you want to see him in another role where you're like, I don't know if I like this man, go watch Waiting to Exhale. If you have not seen it, go watch Waiting to Exhale as too, because that is another movie that is so good, so frustrating. But then the men in the movie, you'd be like, oh, I
Oh,
don't
Mother
like.
Loretta Devine's in that movie. I am
Yes,
intrigued.
Loretta Devine, Angela Bassett, Whitney Houston.
Ooh.
That's one on my Black History Month list.
Yes,
That's
definitely watch that movie. And Dennis is in it. Um, it's an all-star, very good cast. But yeah,
Ooh, Angie Carlo Esposito. I like him.
yeah, it's some, yeah. You ain't gonna like him in this. Well,
We'll
no,
investigate. We'll investigate.
it's good. But yeah, he played this role so well that it definitely made you feel like I can't stand you. But that line that you just mentioned, that was a bar, and that was like, for me, that was my favorite part of that scene. It was just like, because honestly, we see a lot of parents just do that. They want their kids to be better than them. Like, I want you to do better than me. I don't want you to be like me. I don't want you to do what I do. I want you to be better than me. And that was the very example of Hugh's dad wanted him to be better than him, but he couldn't show him how to be better than him because he wasn't great. He knew he wasn't good. And so he couldn't show him how to be good because he wasn't good. And
it's much harder to try to be something. Like, it's
Mhm.
much harder to try to do something, like to listen to words, than it is to see
The
action.
action. Yep.
So like it's really hard to try to be something that you have never seen
Scene.
in
Yeah.
real life. Only
And
heard
that's
of.
why I felt like he struggled so hard. And that's why I hate saying this, but that's why I feel like I gave Q a little grace in this movie, more grace than he deserved, because he was watching in real time his dad be trash. So he was learning how to be trash. And he just became trash in that moment because he was watching trash happen. And so it's like, that's why I feel like in that fourth quarter, I gave him a smidge more grace than I probably should have, because I'm like, I want you to do better because you can do better. Even if you haven't seen it, now you're seeing this is who you like. I don't know. And this movie just does it for me. I'm sorry. I just love it.
Well, on that note, am I good? We good? Great. Okay, so
Eduardo,
One
anything
more
else?
thing. No, never mind.
one more thing, it's time to get to the scores. Lana, as once again this was your selection, you will be going first. As a friendly reminder to our friends at home, we do score movies out of 5 because Letterboxd has made us adjusted to the system at this point. So, Lana.
I think I said this last week. If you watch last week's episode of The Color Purple, I don't pick movies I don't like. Every movie that I picked, I like. So every movie from this point for me will be 5 stars because I like these movies. Because I don't pick movies I don't like. I don't want to have to watch movies I don't like, and I will not make people watch movies that I
Valid.
don't like. So
So
there's
fair.
that.
Well, I
Real.
can say, as much as I do adore The Color Purple, didn't score this one quite as well, but I do really like this movie, and I'm kind of bummed that it took me so long to watch this because I do think it's a really good movie that I might revisit at some point. Also, it feels very cute that this episode will be going out on Valentine's Day. I find that to be adorable. So for my shared birth twin movie, Love and Basketball, I am going to be giving this movie 3.5 stars. I think it's a really good movie. Plot could use a little bit of tightening up at certain points, and I think that the overall end game just should have played out a little bit differently, even with the same result.
See, so with all of the negatives and positives that I have already said, one thing that I want to say to take into consideration is that in general, rom-coms are not my favorite. Like, it needs to be really good for me to like enjoy it, and this was good. But I liked other aspects of the movie way more than the romance aspect. So that, I before the last 15 minutes, initially, I was going to give it a 4. Then because of the last 15 minutes, I moved it down to a 3. And now here talking to y'all, and I'm sorry because I forgot to tell you, Brooke, I'm changing it right now. So you can up half a star from my original score. I was going to give it a 3. Now talking and kind of realizing, like putting dots together and kind of thinking about it a little bit more, I do give it a little bit more grace. So instead of giving it a 3, I'll give it a 3.5.
3.5 out of 5 stars for River. Eduardo, is your score changing? So I know I need to update it.
No, it's staying the same.
Thank you.
The same.
Thank you, Diva.
So okay, I really like this movie. I think it's really fun. It's really good. I did take a whole star away just because of Tyra Banks being in this movie because she jump scared me so hard.
Real.
Note to self: don't pick any movies with Tyra Banks in it. Got
You have to solve life size off the table. Hannah Montana movie.
Absolutely not. No, I'm just messing with y'all. But realistically, like, it's a really good movie. I had a fun time watching it, but I did have some issues with the plot and like with specifically the very last quarter, but it did redeem itself with the one-on-one basketball game. So at the end of the day, I did end up giving it a 4 out of 5. So it's still really good. I still loved it, but it could be better. It could be better.
It could be.
Well,
I will say I do understand, however, why so many people love it and why it is what it is and it was what it was at the time. Like, I get it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, it's interesting enough that with the score adjustment from River, this film comes out to a flat, even 4 out of 5 score. So congratulations, Eduardo, you have matched the panel today.
Yay!
Yeah, 4 out of 5. Again, still a pretty good score. It is almost in the dead center of our newer films that we've done on the reboot version of the Movie Bucket. We've now done 7 movies, and it comes in 5th out of those 7 movies, with the note that it is just below Cabaret at 4.33. So it's close. We're close here. However, it does manage to beat both the original Addams Family and Anomalisa, which is still somehow our lowest rated movie, even though we all kind of had interesting discussion about it. I don't think that will be lasting much longer. I'll just say that. We're due for a bad movie. We are due for a bad movie.
It's bound to happen.
We need to pick bad movies.
When we get to March Madness, spoiler, when we get to March, that's where it's going to happen. I can feel it more.
I'm so excited.
That's where the shenanigans is going to start.
I am rooting for all the bad movies in March.
2 stars. Like, I can't wait. But next week, we are not talking about a movie that I am even remotely considering to take over that spot for Anomalisa. Lana, tell us what we're talking about next week.
Next week, we're getting heavy again. We're getting deep. We're getting on a heavier side, heavier topic, heavier thing. We're talking Rosewood. It is based off of a true story that happened in Rosewood, Florida. And so this is a movie for me that I always have to talk myself into watching. It is not a movie that I watch on a regular basis. It's one of those movies that is very heavy. It's very deep. It always affects me. It always makes me feel a type of way about it every time I watch it. So I have to really muster up myself to actually watch it. So it is a heavy movie. I'm gonna put that out there. Warning: it's heavy. It got a lot of deep topics, and I would suggest you watch it when you have time. Don't be distracted. Don't let nothing else distract you. Just focus on the movie because it's a lot that goes down in this movie.
Yeah.
So,
Rosewood having an incredible cast, including Ving
yes.
Rhames, Don Cheadle, John Voight, Michael Rooker, Esther Roll. Like, it's a really, really good group of people. I have seen this movie before, and I'm telling you right now, be prepared. Just be
Lord.
prepared. Be prepared.
Oh,
It's
Lord,
good to
I
know
hope-
that I have
You
to like
think
maybe
I
I'll
bring
do a
the sad
little.
movies to this podcast? I think Lana's gonna beat me for a year from this one.
Oh no!
Yes.
We're back to depression
Oh
movies. I love it.
no!
Yeah,
Love
this
it.
one is this is a deep one. You like I say, do not be distracted. Make sure you got time to seriously sit, watch, and focus on the movie because it is one of those. It'll take you through there.
I'm calling my
excited.
therapist and telling her to get ready.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Everyone be mentally ready because next week will be a struggle, but not in the way that it normally is when it's a struggle. But until next time, everybody, you can go ahead. Since you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for being here. If you'd like, hit the big red subscribe button down there. We're just here making some fun videos about some movies for you. So if there's something that grabs your attention about the way we talk or the movies we talk about or what have you, just leave a comment down below and hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you here recurringly. If you want to follow any of us on our socials are down below in the ticker. And of course, we'll be here next week with another episode of the Movie Bucket, this time talking about Rosewood. But until next time, everybody, we have unfortunately ran out of popcorn, drank our entire soda, and no one ever gets more than one soft pretzel. So we'll see you next time, everybody. And thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.